Alright folks, just a very quick video to update you on what I've been doing since the last video. So yeah, on the 3rd of February, I think Pfizer went down by a few percent on the 3rd of February, so I just did a tiny little rebalance from NatWest Group into Pfizer. It was only a few, it wasn't like a massive fall in the Pfizer share price or anything, but I just figured a little rebalance wouldn't hurt. And I think at the time NatWest was doing pretty well, so that's why I made the move. I think it was this move here, just a few percent, nothing major. But yeah, it seems to have been a good choice on that tiny amount of money. So then what happened? On the 9th of February, NatWest had a bad result. What happened on the 9th of February? Oh yeah, NatWest took over a wealth management firm and the market really didn't like it. So I decided to rebalance about £1,000 from from Barclays into NatWest. So we can see here, what date was it? The 9th of February. So NatWest had already gone down quite a bit, but on the 9th of February it went down by about 6%. And as we can see, it's carried on going down, so pretty bad. But yeah, rebalanced from Barclays into NatWest. I kind of massaged it so that there wasn't a gain in my dividend being received, so it put like a buffer on the dividend. So I didn't increase my income by doing that, because obviously the underlying yield of Barclays and NatWest is quite different. And then on the 10th of February, I just decided to bite the bullet on HGBC and fcit, so JP Morgan Global Growth and Income and F&C Investment Trust. So I just decided not to bother waiting for like a period of outperformance in the two trusts, because I mean, I've no reason to believe they will outperform in the next couple of years. So why not just bite the bullet and put it all into Acqui? So now I have a much bigger Acqui holding, because I put, what was it, like 40, 50, 60, 70 grand-ish moved into Acqui. So now if we look what I've got in Acqui, the current percentages of my total return portfolio are a lot closer to the targets of 66. Obviously I'm still overweight Scottish Mortgage because I don't want to sell it. I'm gonna get closer to the target weighting by adding to other things rather than selling Scottish Mortgage. Having said that, who knows? We'll see what happens. I might take the next load of income from Scottish Mortgage, so that will help get the target closer to the current percentage closer to the target. So that was, yeah, a big move. I'm probably going to end up making a lot of these moves, to be honest, sooner than I expected. And then on the 11th of February, I just decided, Barclays had their results and they increased the dividend by a tiny amount. And I just figured, you know what, it seems like their policy is not to pay out decent dividend rises. It was only like 2% rise, I think. So I decided just to go for a higher yield, and also it diversifies a bit by going into HSBC. So I've swapped the small holding I had left. It was only about, well, as we can see, it was only about 4,300 quid, because I just rebalanced into NatWest Group. And previously, before that, I put a load into the total return portfolio as well. So it's a smaller holding, but as we can see, I put it into HSBC, so it diversifies a bit. It's because it's like it's a global, more of a global bank. So there's a lot in Asia, for instance. They do a lot of business in Asia. It's a higher price to earnings ratio though, HSBC is, probably because of the diversity, I'm not sure. So it's less of a value bank. I mean, if we just look at the numbers quoted here, we have Barclays, which is, I think it's like a 10 price to earnings ratio, maybe lower now because all the banks have gone down a bit recently. Yeah, so about 10.55. I don't know how accurate these numbers are, but then if we look at HSBC, it's double, I think. Oh no, not quite double, so about 17 price to earnings ratio. But yeah, I just figured I'd go for that, just for the higher yield really, and the diversification of the globalness of it all. And then also NatWest Group has had a dividend rise because their results were released, I think, yesterday or the day before. It's Saturday today. but they had a massive dividend rise. This is why it's such a stark contrast to Barclays. Much higher yield because of the rises NatWest has had in its dividend. So what I've got here is now like the end result of the dividend rise, which I haven't kept all of, because what I did before the NatWest Group dividend rise is I equalised. I've decided to only keep 77.48% of the rise in the dividend of the dividend of both NatWest Group and HSBC, and then also. So before the dividend rise in NatWest Group, it was 0.7748 for both of them. But then we had a big rise in NatWest dividend, and I decided not to keep all of the rise. So I'm kind of like prepping for bad times here with NatWest Group, only keeping reinvesting 25% of the dividend now. So hopefully, when bad times do come, like COVID, it was cut completely. So I guess that wouldn't have helped really anyway, but there's a little bit of a buffer in there because I'm reinvesting 25% of it, and a bit less than 25% for HSBC. Because HSBC, it doesn't even have a progressive policy really. It's just kind of like 50% of its earnings, I think, it'll pay out as a dividend. So I can't rely on this going up. So I need to put a buffer in myself. And basically, it's just kept it so that you just work so that the Barclays dividend hasn't been increased, because I've gone from a lower yielding Barclays to a higher yielding HSBC without increasing my overall dividends. I've just put a buffer in there instead. Yeah, so that's all the moves from the past couple of weeks really. Since the 3rd, I wanted to update you before I forgot what they were all about. We can see now that my dividends for the year are projected to be about 2.34% higher. So yeah, it's made progress because of the NatWest Group dividend increase, which was massive. I'll show that on the screen actually. Yeah, but as you can see, the market really hated the results, because look at the chart there. Well, actually, I'm not sure if they hated the results or if just all of the sentiment on banks went down. See, that went to 23 from 15.5 this time last year. Hopefully it's got the numbers here as well. So for the whole year, it's 50% higher than the year before. Whereas we've got Barclays increasing their dividend by like 2%. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really matter, because I mean, it's the total return that matters. But I don't know, just it feels nicer when you get a big dividend rise, doesn't it? Yeah, that's it, I guess. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye.